Jason with Huck Outdoors, and I just got back from the High Sierra Trail yesterday. 8 days on the trail, and I want to do a little gear breakdown for you of everything that worked and what didn't work. So first off, we've got my bag here. It's the Gregory Optic 58. Great bag, worked really well. Only one problem is I had to take my little Sammy. I couldn't take the Big Daddy Bear canister. It just would not fit in here on its side. So the little daddy fits in here really well. So that meant most of the sites we had to go to for the first few days had to have the bear lockers. We couldn't camp off trail at any of the other campsites. We were having to put, I had 2 bags, which I'll show you here in a minute, that I had to put in the bear boxes that we had there. Let's get into the bag and I'll show you some of the stuff that I brought. So in here, let's see here. I had like my wag bag here end of the day. I had water shoes throughout here. Just a bug net and a rain kilt that I had in this pocket. On the side, I've got my Diawa Spinmatic breakdown rod. It's a 4-piece rod, 6 foot. Works really well. Let's see here. What else I got in here? My little Zpacks bag, which has all my medication. I've got sunblock in here, eye drops. It's basically my first aid kit. Band-aids, BioFreeze. Let's see here. On the other side, just some water bottles. I bring the Lifewater. Those work out really well. I brought 2 of those, filled those up most of the trip, in a small one, which I use for my Herbalife. Propel as well. Let's see here. Have this I bring on every trip. It is in remembrance of my buddy Alex. So that goes from backpack to backpack. So that went on the whole trip with us. Before I do anything else, on this side, I've got a clip here for my Karma grip. So we can come on and off. I've tucked the Karma grip the whole way. And this just slides right in. Doesn't come off. I can pull it back up. Let's see here. Of course, it doesn't want to work now, but right there. And then on this side is Justin's water bottle holder. That worked out really well. I had a liter of water with me the whole way. So let's see here. In the brain, I already took one out. This is what I carried all my GoPro batteries in. That worked out pretty good. Just a little plastic bag. I had my fishing reel up here. I had a buff up here. And basically a box of small tackle. So when we were fishing, there were a mix of jigs, some spinners, some Castmasters, some Thomas Cyclones, and yeah, just a few different colors of the jigs. The Sierra Slammer jigs worked really well for me. Let's see here. Underneath, I had a bag I used for basically a dry bag, but I used it for laundry. I had my Mylar Blanket, which I used a couple times, and the rain cover for the Optic 58, but never had to pull that out. And that is it for in there. Put those back over here. I did bring the brain this time, which helped out. So let's look in the bag. One thing I already pulled out was this bag here. So I had to get something out of it. This bag is made by Cedar Ridge, and this is where all my electronics go. I had a power bank that I brought, 2100 milliamps, and it's got the 2 fast charge ports. I charged my phone up with it. My phone never got down to 50%, and that's what I took most pictures on. And also used that to charge the Karma grip 2 times, which was great because I was able to use it the whole trip. Had my headlamp, my Fox LE headlamp. I've got some headphones in here, emergency flashlight. Weighs nothing, it's a AAA battery. Had a small tripod with me for the GoPro 5 for night photography, where I could just stay in the tent and I could take shots of the stars. That worked out well. And then of course I just bring some extra line. Weighs nothing, just in case we need to do a bear hang, or I needed to do some guy outs on my tent, which I only had to do the last night. I was able to stake everything down for the majority of the trip through what, 7 or 6 nights. The 7th night I had to do 2 tie outs. Let's get into the bag here. This bag here I have is made by Kiva Outdoors, and this was all my toiletry stuff. So some wet wipes, some Body Glide, which I put into a chapstick bottle. That worked out for the whole trip. Some Gold Bond. And then I had some deodorant in here, some hand sanitizer. And this worked out for the whole trip. Yeah. A little toothbrush, toothpaste was all in there as well. I think these are called just a Basin bag. The Great Basin bags are the big ones. So, Basin bag, waterproof. It's got a waterproof zippers. Worked out great. Real lightweight. Made by Kiva Outdoors. Let's see here. I got my water shoes in here, which I used a couple times. Also use them as camp shoes. They are cheap ones from Walmart, $5. They were on clearance. Worked out great. Real comfortable. A little lighter than the Crocs I sometimes use in camp, or my flip-flops that I use. Just throw that up and over. Let's see. What's next? The Katadyn BeFree water filter. Like I said earlier, they clogged up. 3 of them all clogged up. Mine was probably the worst. Usually I soak them before a trip, and it just did not want to work properly. Still was filtering water, but just at a real slow rate. Usually right here you just whisk it in the water to clean it up. Didn't want to clean. I'm going to work on that today to clean up, see if I can fix it. And then I bring this bag right here, which is the Hydropak. It's a 3-liter, so you don't have to keep going back and forth between camp and the water source. So 3-liter, I can bring that in, filter water for camp to cook with and everything else. Just throw that up in there. Let's see here. This is one of the bags I used for extra food for the first 5 days before I got into my bear canister. I brought these here, which I did not need this at all. It's the collapsible bowl. I see the Summit. Didn't need that. I did use my cup for a lot of drinks at the morning or night, coffee or tea. That worked out well. We got an extra canister here that Chopin brought. Worked out for us. I also have my titanium spoon and fork in here that I use. I didn't really use my fork too much, just for ramen. I use a spoon quite a bit. It needs to be cleaned. Clean that later today. Wow. Forgot to throw out my trash. There's a trash can right there. Done. Let's see here. Show you that bag in a minute. What else do I have left? I have 1 tortilla left, but it's looking pretty nasty. So that's left. Over. There's more trash from All American Works Burger. I had an extra lighter in here just in case. Then I've got some dehydrated veggies here that I use with a ramen. Monica dehydrated, had that. Let's see here. This bag was my snack bag for the first few days. Usually I use this bag when I go backpacking for an overnight. I just throw my skillet in there or something else, and a few more pieces of trash. Yep, more trash in there. Throw that trash away. And this one is also another REI bag. Both these are made by REI. Just little bags that are expandable, like this one here. If I want to, I can expand it, make it a little bit bigger, which I usually do, because that's where my MSR skillet usually is carried with. Let's move on. What else do I got in here? The stinky bag. This one here is a Zpacks bag, and you can flip it inside out. It's got all my clothes. This is where all my clothes were. You can flip it inside out, and it's got fleece here, and you can make that your pillow, which I use for my pillow. Had one beanie, had some gloves, which I never used. I used a beanie a couple nights. I had brought 2 pairs of underwear, actually 3, but one actually had a hole in it, so I never used that one. 2 pairs of socks, 2 pairs of liners, so each day I was having to wash those out, let them air dry as we hiked. And then I also brought some tight pants, which we like to call them, but they're just some Columbia, like long johns, and a shirt as well to stay warm at night. Never really got that cold except for at Guitar Lake. Got really cold because you're up at 11.5. And what was it, the night before? No, there's one other night, I can't remember which one, but I did get cold there as well, and put both those on. let's see here. Next, I have my Ghost Whisperer jacket with the hood. Use this a couple times to stay warm. Weighs basically nothing. I can pack it down real small, but what I didn't pack it down into the pocket. I just left it open to fill up some of the holes in there. Let's see here. I brought one other jacket because there's a chance of rain. It is August in the Sierras. There's a chance of monsoon. I got a Mountain Hardwear rain jacket with dry Q technology. I finally used it the last night just so I could say I wore it. We had no rain, so when we were at outpost camp and still pulling out the Ghost Whisperer, I pulled this out just to use it because it sort of sucked bringing it the whole way and not using it. Let's see here. Next, which I still have some food in here, is the lighter one, Little Sammy bear canister. You got the pan on top, which you can use as a frying pan, which at outpost camp Robert used to fry up some fish that Monica caught. So that one worked out well. Right here, I wanted to bring the Big Daddy, but if I brought the Big Daddy, I had to fit it this way, and then there wasn't enough room for some other gear. So by putting this in, I was able to put it this way. Actually fits in perfect. The lighter one, Little Sammy, is good for like a 3-day trip. Otherwise, you're not going to fit enough food in there. Food wise, I brought a lot of Packet Gourmet. I've got one meal left from the trip, which I didn't eat, which I will soon. Hopefully use it in the next trip or two. I repackaged all the Packet Gourmets as well, but this one is a potato samosas and mango chutney, which you have to add a tortilla with. That was the last one. I brought a lot of different food for lunch. I'll maybe go over that later, but I had tuna, Spam, ramen, a bunch of different bars, like the RX bars and the LAR bars. But when you're on the trail and you're hiking, I was trying to eat these as a snack. They just didn't work out too well. They give you a lot of energy. This is like 200 calories or something like this per bar. The 200 calories. Your protein, it's only 4 grams though, but I was trying to eat these as I was hiking, and so I'm hiking, I'm trying to chew, and I'm chewing, and just couldn't swallow it for some reason. I don't know why. I got some ramen here. I got a couple of ramens left that I didn't eat. I was just gonna put them in a bag for lunch, but then I borrowed a canister from David because he was doing cold soaking. That's a great idea on the trail, especially long trails like that. Cold soak for lunch. You can put these in with some of those dehydrated veggies, and it works out great. You're hiking, you got it cold soaking. By the time you get to where you want to have lunch, it's ready to go. So let's put that up here. What else do I got in here? I got my Packet Gourmet koozie. Let's see. Sleeping pad. I use the Axel Air sleeping pad, the non-insulated. 2 nights I did get a little cold where I put the Mylar blanket underneath, which helped out. And yeah, this one is a non-insulated. It's a Mummy 20x72 Mummy one. I sleep on my side. The Mummy actually works great. And being non-insulated, I think this is supposed to go down to like 30 degrees, something like that. But that one works. I really do like it. Even though I was cold a couple nights, I could have put more layers on. I would have been warm. Let's see here. Next is the tent. Great tent right there. 6 Minute Designs Lunar Solo LE. Great tent. I got condensation one night out of the 7 we were there, and that was at Big Arroyo. We were camped next to a meadow, high grass, and I think out of the 7 tents we had, 1, 2, 3, 4 got condensation there. But otherwise, most of the trip there was no condensation at all. Let's see here next. In this little Columbia bag here, this one is actually empty. We used one full one. Shuping and I actually shared this. And this was my jet boil, my titanium Soul TI. Can't find these anymore. They haven't made them for quite a few years, but it works out great. Boils water super quick, real lightweight. That was the cook system for this trip. And I'm going to keep this one, I'm not throwing it away because you can refill these small ones, which are great. I'll be doing that, refill that one. And last but not least, oh no, 2 things left in here. So when we were going up, I wore this hat, and this hat was given to me by Alex's mom, and I thought, you know, I was saving it for this trip. Wore it the first day as we were driving up, and just too tight. The flex fit was hurting my head, giving me a headache, so I bought a new hat, but carried this the whole way through because I don't want to lose it. It's got some memories. And then last but not least, in this bag right here, this is my quilt made by Cedar Ridge Outdoors. I put it in this bag. The bag doesn't hardly weigh anything. It's a 13-liter evac bag by Sea the Summit, and I keep it in here just in case there's rain or water, you know. Maybe I trip, fall in the Current River or one of the creeks. But it's here, Cedar Ridge Outdoors. I've got the coyote brown one side, Moroccan blue on the other side. It's a 0 degree, weighs right under 26 ounces, and most of the time keeps me pretty damn warm. The last night Outpost Camp was camping at 10.5, something like that, 10.4, and it was too warm. Most nights it was perfect. The one night, or the 2 nights that I was cold, that was more the sleeping pad underneath, and I actually had the door open. So at Guitar Lake, when I was cold, I had the door open. I thought maybe I was going to get condensation. Wind was coming through a little bit. I probably would have been real warm if I closed the door to the Lunar Solo. But that's it, guys. That is all the gear. I'm gonna have to go home and clean it all up today. That was a fun trip. So what would I have changed for this trip? The first thing would have been the water filter, the Katadyn BeFree. I used it a couple weeks before up at Mount Baldy, actually 3 weeks ago. Now it worked great, perfect flow. Something happened between then and now, and it was low flow. So that's something I would have changed. The next thing I would have changed was I didn't need to bring gloves on this trip. I brought gloves, never needed them, was never that cold. I probably could have changed out because of the weather. I really didn't need the rain jacket. I probably could have brought my wind jacket, which weighs quite a bit less. There was one time when some clouds came over and we started to get some drops, but otherwise there was no need for this rain jacket on this trip. We were out there for 8 days, checked the weather before we left, worked out okay. Let's see here, food-wise, I would have changed some of the food options I had. I'm not too sure what I would have changed to, but I wouldn't have taken so many bars. I also had some oatmeal for breakfast. I was trying these, which are usually pretty good, the Belvitas. It's 230 calories. I was doing that with my breakfast, but for some reason I just was not as hungry eating these bars. The RX bars, like I said. This one here is mixed berry. They're usually pretty good, but for some reason just wasn't able to eat them on the trail. And let's see here, anything else in there? No. So I put that back in. Anything else I would have changed? Film system was great. I used the GoPro Hero 4 for when I was talking, doing some shots, but the batteries died out early, so I had to film some on my phone. Karma grip actually worked really well the whole trip. I was sort of surprised. The weight of this, I was thinking about not taking it, and I'm glad I did because I got some great shots. I actually used the power bank twice to charge it. One time it got down to 1, I charged it back up to 3. Then the last night I charged it again just because it was down to 2, got back up to 3. It is a heavy duty battery in there. The battery's in the handle. It takes a USB-C. But it worked out well. I used it for the majority of the trip, including with that clip on. With a new clip, I don't get as much bounce, so I was able to just hit record here, turn it on as I'm hiking, and got all the shots. And then, other than that, one other thing I would have changed, I brought 2 canisters, and I was sharing the stove with Shuping, and we probably only need to bring 1 each. She brought 1 as well, so that was a little bit extra weight that we didn't need. Other than that, the fishing rod worked great. I was happy with my fishing rod. I prefer having an actual rod, not a telescoping rod. Just a personal preference. For other people, it worked out great. They were catching fish with the telescopic rods, the fin fishing rods. I just prefer a real rod. And other than that, the only other thing I would change are my shoes. I had a pair of Montrails. Montrails usually work great for me. They were a size 13, and my feet were swollen by the end of the trip, and the big toe and the little toe on each side both got blisters. So that was one thing I might have changed. A few of the guys used the Ultras. There was one person was wearing the Temps, one was wearing the Olympus, another person was wearing the Lone Peaks. They all worked great for them. Great shoes for them. I'm just gonna have to find an option for me now for a different type of shoe. Seeing as that Montrail just didn't work anymore, just a little too narrow. Maybe go to New Balances or the Ultras. We'll see. Other than that, I think we're good. When I went in, I started the trip. My pack weighed 40.7 pounds. When I got done, we weighed at the Whitney portal, and it was right at 31 pounds. Would have lost a little bit more weight if I would have ate all my food, which I didn't. Other than that, what can I say? It was a great trip. The video will be coming out later. I've got 8 days of film to edit, and I don't know when I'll be able to get all through that. Hopefully I'll have something for you by next week. It'll be one full feature video. I don't want to do day 1, day 2, day 3. We're just going to do one full video. Probably, hopefully 45 minutes to an hour long. And it was great filming. It was a great time up there with great friends. We all had a blast out there. Great friendships were strengthened on this trip. The mind and bodies were tested. And yeah, just that's all I can say for now. You guys are going to get a little teaser trailer this week as well. And I hope you enjoy it. It was a blast filming it. It was a blast hiking it. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this little gear breakdown of everything. Hopefully it was helpful for you guys. You guys can see what we took on the High Sierra Trail, or what actually I took on the High Sierra Trail, what worked and what didn't work. So thanks for watching, guys. If you do like the video, hit like, give it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. Always appreciate that. And leave any comments you want. I always appreciate the comments, good or bad. I try to respond to all of them. So thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you on the next adventure.